Oh my god. Dun, 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 dun. I'm just literally blending in. This is basically just the new camo. So anyways, hi, welcome back to my kitchen. Welcome to another Thanksgiving recipe. This is a big one, mashed potatoes. I would like to preface this video with I'm giving you a basic mashed potato recipe. Keep in mind that basic does not necessarily mean bad. This is delicious. There is so much dairy in this. There's no way for it to go wrong unless you're lactose intolerant, then don't do that. But what I'm getting at is if you are looking for a little bit fancier of a potato, this is a really easy, good starter, like base recipe that you could add roasted garlic into. You could add cheese if you're into that. You could add other herbs, spices, flavors, whatever, and it'll be beautiful. But without further ado, what you are going to need for this is pretty simple, but you are very clearly going to need some potatoes. Personally, I like to use russet potatoes as this is a true potato. It's just gonna do you better, okay friends? Get these. So you're going to need about 4 pounds of these, which I find to be roughly like 10 medium-sized potatoes. You're also going to need a stick. Yes, a whole stick of butter sliced into slabs, a whole package of cream cheese, which I usually just cut in half, and I like to use a tablespoon of pepper because I am a fan of pepper, but feel free to half this if you're not so into it. But I use a tablespoon of pepper and also a tablespoon of salt, and I also would recommend having a little bit more on hand just to salt your water. But to make mashed potatoes is actually really easy. The hardest part I find is just to peel the potatoes if you have a child around or a partner. This is a good task to give someone else. I truly think the only reason my parents had children was so that our little hands could peel their potatoes and clean their stairwells. But anyways, if you like peels in your potatoes, feel free to just wash your potatoes really well and leave these on. But personally, I like the skin off of them. But however you get here, whenever you are done peeling or not peeling everything, you are just again going to make sure that you have washed these really well. And because potatoes tend to come in all different kinds of shapes and sizes, especially if you're getting a bag of them, they might not be super consistent. I like to actually just grab these and slice them into pieces about, I don't know, maybe this is like a little under an inch thick, like so. And the reason for this is this is going to help these cook a lot faster, but also I find that these help them cook a lot more evenly. Because again, you could have a much bigger potato that if you just have in there versus a much smaller one, they're not going to cook necessarily at the same speed, so why not? But just do be sure to be careful as your potatoes are likely now wet and cutting these are surprisingly difficult. But once all of your potatoes are roughly evenly as much as you can sliced, you are just going to want to cover these with 2 inches, so like top of the potatoes are completely covered, add 2 inches of water, and this is where you are going to generously, like big cap, not the little cap, big cap people, salt, a little more for good measure, salt your water and put these on to boil. So we are starting with cold water and boiling them for, I find, about like 16 minutes from cold to completely cooked, but you just want to keep an eye on these and get these to a point where you can easily jam a fork through them. You're going to see a couple broken pieces in there where I jammed my fork through, but again, I found this total time to be about 16 minutes. But once your potatoes are cooked, all you need to do now is add the rest of your ingredients. So we're adding the salt in here, we're adding the pepper, the cream cheese, and all of the butter. And again, if you are trying to make a fancier mashed potato, which I'm personally into, this is also an ideal time to add in whatever kind of flavors. If you're trying to do like a rosemary potato, maybe some garlic, maybe a little garlic rosemary, you know, whatever. You know, if you like a really creamy potato, I know that I just stuck so much cream cheese in here, but I do find if you wanted to just like heat up a cup of heavy cream, maybe like half a cup, start with half a cup, see where that gets you, and add this into here as well. Oof. So how you mash them, I personally feel like is completely dependent on what kind of texture you want. Some people, like my sister, for example, whom I had to feed this to, wants a little bit rougher of a texture. Like if you enjoy having some chunks of potato still in there, I would recommend just literally you can use a fork. I do have a really fancy potato masher, which I also recommend, as your life is going to be easier using that, but I did want to just go ahead and show you that you can get this texture with a fork. I love taking beaters to my mashed potatoes, so if you're into that, if you want a much more mixed together potato, feel free to do that. You know, there's lots of options depending on whatever kind of texture you want, so follow your heart. But once you are done mixing these up, that is pretty much everything. You now have mashed or smashed potatoes, which I recommend topping with some butter and some gravy. Again, this is a really easy, good, solid starter potato recipe, but I'm out of final clips. So be sure to go, I don't know, stretch your arms, your body. Maybe reach out to someone you have not talked to in a while. Am I scraping the bottom of the barrel here? Yes, but have a nice day. Bye. Thank you for watching.